At the beginning of this film, we are introduced to two men who are hunting snakes in Las Arenas. They hope to profit from the skin of these reptiles, which is more valuable than the items they rob from local tourists. The scene cut to Josh and Sophia, who have arrived in Bogota, Colombia, for a work conference. The two are both doctors and are here to deliver a presentation. When they get to their hotel, they meet Marcos, a friend of Josh's who has organized the conference. After a brief conversation with him, Josh and Sophia head to their room. Sophia isn't happy about their sleeping situation, as there is only one bed and the two haven't slept in the same room for quite some time. It's clear that their marriage is on the rocks, for reasons that may have something to do with Josh's drinking problems and the fact that he was absent during his daughter's birth. Over dinner, Marcos and Josh arrange to go hiking. When Sophia retires to bed, Josh talks to Marcos about his marriage and reveals to his friend that he and Sophia are on the verge of splitting up. The next morning, we learn Marcos isn't able to go hiking. Josh decides not to go, but when Sophia tells him she wants to hike through the forest near Chochi, he insists on coming with her to keep her safe, and was somewhat surprised when she agreed on him coming along. When looking at a map with the hotel receptionist, they are warned not to hike through Las Arenas, as the area is supposedly very dangerous. Josh and Sophia think they can handle the trail, but ultimately decide to follow the advice they have been given when he added the place is home to snakes. When they leave the hotel, the receptionist nods to a man who is sitting in the lounge. This guy is one of the hunters that was seen at the beginning of the film. Josh and Sophia arrive at the hiking trail and proceed with their expedition. But when they hear the sound of thunder, Josh decides the safest thing to do is to head back to the car and leave. When they get to the car, they discover the guy from the hotel trying to break into their vehicle. A fight breaks out between Josh and the man, but when this ends badly for Josh, he and Sophia flee into the forest. They end up in Las Arenas, the place where they were warned not to go. Sophia loses Josh along the way and ends up falling into a muddy pool that turns out to be quicksand or end. Josh finds Sophia and tries to pull her out, but his attempt fails. When she submerges beneath the muddy water, he jumps in to rescue her, but then becomes as stuck as she is. Meanwhile, Marcos is at the hotel. He finds a message from Josh telling him that he and Sophia have gone hiking and they won't be back till late. Josh has never heard of anybody dying from quicksand, so thinks they will be okay. He's just trying to stay positive, however, as he knows he and his wife are in quite a predicament. During their attempts to get out of the mud, Sophia feels something beneath her. It turns out to be a dead body, another victim of the quicksand, and Sophia thinks he must have starved to death. They take the man's backpack off him and discover various items, including a torch knife and a Bible. He also has a rifle, which they take before pushing him back beneath the muddy pool. Josh sees a rock nearby, which looks strong enough to hold Sophia's weight. He cuts the backpack into strips and makes a lasso from the material. His plan is to throw this over the rock so Sophia can pull herself out. We then cut back to the hotel where Marcos sees the robber carrying Josh's backpack. He confronts the man, and when they start to fight, the hotel staff pull them apart. The two are then arrested. Josh and Sophia create a makeshift rope from the backpack, but it doesn't reach the rock. But while this plan doesn't work, they see another chance for freedom when they spot a helicopter in the sky. They call up to it, hoping somebody will see or hear them, but as the trees are very thick, they are too well hidden. Sophia becomes panicked and worries that they might become dehydrated as their water bottles are in the backpack that was stolen. She then has more to worry about when ants start crawling over her neck and begin nibbling at her skin. At this point, Josh brings out a bottle of vodka that he had kept hidden and pours it over Sophia's neck to wash away the ants. Sophia is angry with Josh because he didn't tell her about the alcohol he was carrying. She's mad because she thought he was over his drinking problem. He tells her their relationship problems and the stress of work were the factors behind his decision to start drinking again. While they are talking, the camera cuts to something moving towards them. It's later shown to be a snake, and it arrives at the quicksand to defend its nest, which is located nearby. Josh tells Sophia to shoot the snake, but as she takes aim, it lunges at Josh and bites him. She manages to wound the reptile, but the bullet isn't enough to kill it. The snake slithers away, but as the venom is circulating around Josh's body, he is still in danger. Sophia thinks they have around 6 hours before the poison shuts down Josh's organs. Because they are stuck, Josh isn't confident that he will survive. We then cut to a prison cell where Marcos and the robber are talking. The man agrees to tell Marcos where Josh and Sophia are if he gives him his watch. Marcos agrees and then shouts to the guard to tell him that he is a doctor and needs to be released so he can find his friends who may be in danger. Back at the quicksand, Josh is panicking, but Sophia tells him he needs to remain calm to slow down his heart rate. He tells her there is nothing she can do for him, but she has an idea. The venom is spreading and coagulating Josh's blood, so his survival chances are extremely low. To save his life, Sophia decides to cut the clot in his cerotoid artery that is blocking the blood flow to his brain. But as the pain is too much for him, he slips into unconsciousness. When he comes to, she asks him if he meant what he said about loving her, to which he replies, yes. After some time, Sophia gets another idea. She thinks the snake can be used as a rope that can be tied to the backpack straps to make a longer lasso. When she sees the snake approaching them, she grabs the rifle but isn't able to kill the venomous reptile and starts to wrap itself around her. Before it crushes her, Josh, who had fainted again, wakes up and kills the snake with the knife. Now free from its clutches, Sophia attaches the snake to the backpack straps and lassos it around the rock. She then pulls herself out of the quicksand. Sophia tells Josh to grab her hand so she can pull him free. Unfortunately, he can't move, so he tells her to go on without him. Sophia isn't happy about this, but she heads into the forest anyway. She is exhausted and begins hallucinating on the walk. Just as she is about to collapse, an ambulance arrives. Along with Marcos, Sophia is taken to the ambulance where she gets the help she needs. While she is resting, Marcos and the rescue team head into the forest to find Josh. A short while later, they return, and Sophia is happy to see her husband alive and lying on a stretcher. Josh has survived the ordeal, and so too has Sophia. But it's not only their lives that have been saved. When we see the two of them embrace one another, it's clear that their enforced time together was also responsible for saving their marriage. That's all. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a like.